They did an unbelievable job. JT, Josh Patterson, Jalen Moore, and then the addition of Todd McShane. They came in and we're really able to rebuild this class of high school guys in a short amount of time and doing it with quality. Starting first with Saladin, just a great running back. Todd brought him in. He had tracked him in his time at Northwestern. The first thing he did when he got here was bring up this kid. We watched his film, explosive, really great change of direction, and then brought him up here, and what an amazing kid and family, and just fit our culture, fit what we were looking for. Exodus Ayers, defensive back, has been with us, committed to us for a long time, and just really talented, long, like what we like in the back end. In our secondary here, plays the way we want them to play, and has stayed committed to us through people trying to flip him, which has been great. Very, very loyal kid. We're excited about him. Dexter Foster, inside linebacker from Central Catholic up in Portland. Just really raw and talented. He's got a huge upside and ceiling to him that I'm excited for him to get here and get to work. He's been great too, committed to us for a long time. Excited about him. Jairese Goodman, an inside linebacker at a community college up in Garden City. Just really talented, well put together. Again, same thing, brought him up here, got to meet him, got to know him. Really good young man that's going to add a lot of value to this team, not only as a player, but in our locker room, which is what we're looking for with all these guys. And then Callum Guttridge, the quarterback out of Wilsonville. Short notice for him, but Coach Gunderson really liked him. We watched his film, really liked, he has the athleticism to make plays, but also is a real strong thrower. And then same thing, getting to meet his family, getting to meet him, the person he is, really going to add to that quarterback room. Cornell Hatcher was another guy that we had kind of earmarked, that we liked, even before the whole staff change, and then really dove back into him when we had some room at running back. And same thing, real explosive, real productive. Really like what we see on film from him. And then same thing, who he is as a person. With all these guys, that's a big part of what we're looking for. Not only talent, but how are they wired? Do they fit what we want in that locker room? Do they fit the way they play? And these guys do. Will Haverland, outside linebacker from Eugene, Sheldon High School up in Eugene. Same thing, he's been in our camps. We've known about him for a long time. He was a guy we were always kind of looking at, and just really dove back into him. When I got the job here, and he brings a lot of value. Same thing, tough, hard-working, athletic, really long. And he's not done growing by any means. So excited about him. And then Adam Hawks, good young offensive lineman that's really grown. You look at where he was a year ago, just in size and stature, to where he is now. A guy that's on the uptrend in his development. He's not tapped out anywhere near it, and add some size and athleticism to him. And we're excited about that. Coach DeVan did a great job with him. And then Shamar, outside linebacker from Florida, just really talented, long, athletic, fits what we're looking for in edge. The Chatfields, the guys like that, has that explosiveness, ability to get to the quarterback, which we need to continue to be our trademark here at Oregon State. And then Dylan Sikorsky, again, offensive lineman, great size, tough, but also moves really well. So that's the group for us. We're really excited about the young players we've been able to add, and looking forward to their future and development here. But excited about what we were able to do really in a short amount of time, and kind of rebuild that thing, but rebuild it with quality, and in my opinion, upgraded in a lot of areas, and excited about that.
Are any of these 10 going to be graduate early and enroll in January?
There will be a couple. Obviously Goodman will be here. He'll be here in January. Exodus will be here in January. Yep.
The next signing period, how important is that for you? Are you looking at quite a few for that class, for that group, or?
Yeah, continuing to look at where we need to add both older guys and younger guys. We just went through that. That was a big thing when we were doing this, is learning really from lessons learned from the first time we got to Oregon State 6 years ago. You don't panic about the first signing day. Make sure it's the right guys, right kids, and don't just take guys because you feel you got to fill needs or just fill spots on a board. And that's what we did. We weren't looking to take. We were fine if we took a small number, but we were able to get some of these guys that we thought had added great value, and we got 10 really good ones that we feel are gonna have great futures here.
And then, as the portal continues to evolve and become a bigger piece for everybody, how important are the signing classes in terms, I know you wanna get these high school kids, but where are you at in terms of, balancing those two now?
Yeah, this year's gonna be a little bit different than years past, as far as we'll take more portal guys than we probably will in a normal year, just because of the turnover, guys leaving, threat of guys getting poached. So it'll be a little bit heavier that way this year, but in general, we're still gonna be a place of development with high school and junior college guys. That's gotta be our core, guys that are gonna be in the program for a long period of time. That's how you build a culture. If it's just guys jumping in for 1 year and out, I mean, you see it across the country with teams that do that there's nothing there, there's no substance there. We don't want to be that program. We want to be a program of substance and culture, and so we got to do it with guys that are going to develop over a long period of time, and then fit holes as we need to, depending on the depth chart or the roster that year.
Couple for you, Coach. First and foremost, you guys have been through a lot in the last month. How does it feel to get here to your first signing day as a head coach and start to talk about the future of Oregon State?
It feels great, and again, knowing who we've added to this thing, just the short time I've been with this whole staff and the work that they've done and the diligence and effort that they show in how they recruit. These guys are great recruiters. They work extremely hard. Seeing that was very energizing. And then seeing the guys that they brought to my attention, there's a number of guys here that weren't on our radar before that new staff got here. And the quality of player and person that they've brought gives me real hope for the future.
You said you went at Will hard once you got the job. What really popped out about Will, maybe aside from the measurables that people at home don't get to see every Friday night? And then how important is it to keeping the Oregon talent here in Oregon, 3 of them on the list today from within the state?
Yeah, I think it's very important. I think that there's a little bit more investment with guys that grew up knowing this program, wanting to be a part of this program. Will's another one of those. He always had the measurables, and we always really liked him. I think it just fell back early on. Sometimes you get enamored with guys from far away, like they add more value, but you go back to what's really important, and that's, how does he play the game? What does he have development left in him? Is he tapped out? He's nowhere near tapped out. He's got great frame and stature to continue to grow. So you kind of want to get those guys that are on the rise and you can develop rather than they're peaked in high school. And he's one of those guys that he's just scratching the surface of what he can become.
Couple of things. You talked about the portal and then building. Do you find with the portal that maybe there's some overlooked guys that are maybe preps or JUCOs?
There's no question. So many teams are so portal heavy. There's a lot of guys that do get overlooked or are going, I look at Saladin, he's going to Sam Houston State originally. Like, this guy's an extremely big talent that was kind of overlooked and for whatever reason. But then you get him up here and you expect him to be small, and he's not. Like, I remember when we were down taking the photos, I was like, oh God, he's put together. And saying that to our running back coach. And so yeah, there's guys like that because there's not as much emphasis on high school recruiting across the country.
Also then, Saladin had a tie with former Beef, Kendall Hill, the other running, Cornell Hatcher's uncle played at Oregon State. Did that come into play at all, or did you guys even know about that when you?
I knew about Cornell. I knew about that, but I didn't know about the Kendall Hill connection until he was up on the trip, which was fun to find out. We were just walking together and he said, hey, Kendall said to say hi. I was like, oh, geez.
Yeah, Kendall reached out to me and just talked about what an amazing kid he is. So, and then last question, you have some transfer portal guys that have committed. Are you expecting those guys to all be here in January?
Most, yes.
But at this point, knowing what you have on the roster, what are the most important positions that you need to fill either through the portal or this next group of signees?
Yeah, we're going to look to continue to add to the quarterback room where we had some departures, and then the tight end room, same thing. There's been some departures, and really the defensive backfield. Those are kind of the 3 big ones that we got to immediately add guys to, and then every position we kind of looking at. We're going to add a guy here or there to fill some spots of guys that are taking off. Yeah.
What have been the challenges to hold on to some of your guys on the roster?
Well, the challenge is, everything's happening behind your back. Luckily or unluckily, I know about the stuff because we got great kids and they're pretty upfront and honest about what's going on with them. So, but that's really it. You know, they're getting called all the time. You never know day to day, you know, what their situation looks like. So it's just, it makes it tough, but I mean, you got to just fight through it and continue to keep your relationships with your own players as you continue to work to add to the program as well.
Do you anticipate losing any more of the portal after the bowl game?
I don't, but again, you just never know.
I know this was your first time being a head coach, kind of being in charge of not just the defensive side of the ball, but both sides of the ball. Just what was that like?
Actually, I enjoyed it a lot, getting to know some of these offensive recruits when normally I wouldn't have had any contact with them. So it's been fun that way, the ability to kind of interact, even with our guys out at practice. And I've always been good at relationships with both sides of the ball, but now just that scope gets larger. That's been the best part, is the interaction with the recruits and with our own players from the guys that I don't normally get daily interaction with. It's been good.
And how would you describe the class, maybe both on the field and then describe them off the field?
Yeah, I kind of, they had what we were looking for at their position and what their skill set is for the position that we brought them in for. And then all of them, and that's a big part of it, was, you know, as you go through there's a lot of talent out across the country. But what has separated us and what's going to continue to separate us is how these guys are wired and who they are as people. We talk a lot, you know, on defense about, you know, it's not what we do, it's how we do it. And that's really big. It's not who we got, right? How talented they are in our locker room. It's who are they? How are they wired? How do they go about their business? Does that fit what we're looking for? And these guys fit that bill. And that's what makes me so excited about them, besides just their natural talent.
And while you were kind of talking to them, both recruits that were already committed and then new recruits that were committed, what did you find to be most important to them when making the decision to sign to Oregon State?
Yeah, what I like about the guys that stuck with us and then the guys we added to us was, it was about what was important. It wasn't about chasing something that really is meaningless. So they were into the culture of the team and where we are. They were into the people that they were around, because the people makes the university, and we got great people here. And then they see the opportunity that we have, especially these next 2 years, to do something that this place hasn't done. And they saw that vision. And so for all three of those reasons, very, very grateful that they're with us.
And to those commits that decided to stay committed throughout everything that's happened kind of the past month, just what did that mean to you, to have them believe in you enough to stay and to come here?
Yeah, I mean, very, very thankful for that and appreciative of that. I think more than just, I think, you know, Coach Perkins, Coach Fentz, guys that are sticking around, that are still here, was a huge part of that, keeping some sort of continuity. And then, yeah, their belief in me and where we're trying to go with this thing I'm very grateful, is the best way to say it. Yeah.
Very good. Thanks, Coach.
All right.